Reverend Thornton from Grace Memorial Presbyterian Church in the Hill District. Reverend Thornton is kind of a public education hero around these parts. He sat down in the middle of the street and let himself get arrested to help fund our schools. So he's going to share with us the state of public education today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I got arrested and went to the jail for justice. I heard loud and clear that in the midst of the cutbacks, we say what? Amen. I'm here today to share the state of public education and what we know we can no longer take. Our public schools are staggering under massive state budget cuts. 2 years ago, Governor Corbett cut $1 billion from public education. And then he did it again last year, compounding the damage. Our kids are now missing nearly $2 billion from their schools. Will we stand for it? No! Because of those cuts, our students here in Pennsylvania have lost almost 20,000 of their teachers. Our kids have lost music, art, library, and foreign languages. Schools have been forced to slash tutoring programs and even kindergarten, the very things we know work. Here in Southwest PA, our children are sitting in classes with 35 and even 39 students. Will we stand for it? No! Our poorest students have been hit the hardest. For years, our state used an unequal funding formula to distribute the education budget so that the poorest districts got the least. The legislature fixed this problem in 2008, but Governor Corbett took us back to the old funding formula, locking in disparity. He locked in social and economic inequality. He locked in racial inequality. This year, the governor proposes giving our schools a slight increase, $90 million, which returns about 5% of what he has cut. It won't fill the budget hole he created 2 years ago. It won't bring back the teachers we lost or restore the arts programs we need so badly in our schools. And what's worse, Governor Corbett will hand out that money using the old formula so that once again our poorest students will get the least. And he proposes that we tie education funding to pension reform and the sale of state liquor stores. These are false choices. Children hostage to a political agenda. This is not a sustainable plan for funding our schools and does nothing to fix inequality. Will we stand for it? No! But our fight is not just a fight to restore a few programs in each of our schools. Our fight is for social justice. We know that kids who attend well-funded schools actually rank at the top of the world on international tests. But the U.S. has the second highest child poverty rate among all industrialized nations, to our great shame. 26% of all our children under the age of 5 are now living in poverty. That's over a quarter of our kids growing up in poverty. Will we stand for it? And poverty has a profound impact on education. Kids who aren't getting enough to eat, who are sleeping on the floor, who don't have warm coats to wear, whose lives are full of instability or violence. It is said that poverty is no excuse for low student performance in school, but poverty is real. We need health care and community-based programs in our schools, nurses, social workers, and parent engagement specialists. These are the very people we've lost to budget cuts. To be sure, we have serious issues in our schools that need serious attention. the racial achievement gap, the dropout rate, the school-to-prison pipeline. These are real. Here in this city, only 18% of our African-American male seniors were academically eligible last year for a Pittsburgh Promise Scholarship. 18%. Some of our high schools have a 60% rate of students chronically missing schools. Will we stand for this? But the answer to these problems is not defunding public education. It is not closing down public schools, taking away the last pillar of strength in some of our communities. The answer is not blaming our teachers. The answer is not privatization or choice or competition or any of the other corporate style reforms that take the public good out of public education. These have actually done more damage to our poorest students and students of color. They've taken public taxpayer dollars and sent them into private hands. They've reduced our kids to data points and created a culture of high-stakes testing that has narrowed the curriculum to reading and math, taken away history, science, and the arts, and mandated weeks upon weeks of test prep and test taking. These reformers send their own kids to private schools that don't look like this. But 89% of our children in this country are educated in public schools. The fact is, public education has not failed. Most of our kids in school do a great job of most of our kids' schools do a great job of teaching our children. The problem is policymakers have failed public education. Policymakers have failed to fund public education adequately. They have failed to fund it equitably. They have failed to acknowledge the effects of poverty and provide wrap-up services to our schools. So my brothers and sisters, here is the bottom line. We must have adequate, equitable, and sustainable public funding for public education. Do you agree? Do you agree? Stand on your feet if you agree. We believe public education is a public good. Old idea, going all the way back to the first public school established in Boston in 16